Excellent. What did you like what you got out of KP tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was great. He got to the free throw line. Defensively, he changed shots. I thought he was great for a first time back.
Are you surprised at all? I mean, what was he actually able to do? He hadn't played the game in 15 days. Like that.
Yeah, I think being able to work out and do stuff on your own, he did, and you could see. I thought again he started off the game great, set the tone, got to the free throw line, going to him in the first play in the post up. Yeah, he was great. You just never know when you're out that long how someone's going to respond, but I thought he was great.
Was that a design play right at the beginning of the game to post up?
Yeah, it was a crayon play. We just drew it up, see what would happen. Yeah, it was designed to go to KP right off the bat, get his feet wet, get him comfortable, and he delivered.
Was Dorian the point forward there the first few possessions?
Yeah, well, he's running the team. He wanted to get the ball to KP, and Lucas had this cross screen to get KP open. So we're putting guys in different positions to see how they respond, and they did a great job tonight.
Nelly said he approves.
Huh?
Nelly said he approves.
Okay, cool. As long as he approves, we're good.
Anyone? Talk about the new contract you got there.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2 years. I'm thankful to be, solidified on the team for any time span. But, 2 years I think is a good amount of time I think I can have to solidify my role here long term. And I think being here these last, 30 days is kind of showing that. I try to do the best that I can to help the team win, and whatever aspect it is, if I play a lot or if I don't, just try to be a team player and just go out there and do what I got to do to contribute.
Is this a case of you making the best out of a bad situation, COVID and all that, and you was able to jump in and get those 10 days and then the contract?
I mean, God's timing is perfect timing, you know what I mean? Like, it just stayed ready. It sucked that people had to be sick for it to happen, but, I'm thankful that I was given the opportunity to show what I'm capable of doing, and show people that I'm healthy and that I can still play.
You've been with several teams. Why do you think this situation panned out so quickly and so well for you?
I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good at basketball. I mean, just filling a role, a role that was needed, I think, in me specifically and what I bring, which is just my energy and effort and trying to play the best defense that I can, and, being able to knock down my shot lately is helping. And just being athletic and causing havoc towards the rim, giving the scorers the space that they need by putting pressure on the rim. And just being myself. I think I've been in situations that did work, but, things outside of the basketball court kind of got in the way. But, I think it's a blessing to be here and be able to play again. It's been a long year for me overall, so, I'm just thankful.
What were the conversations you had with Jason and Nico and others like? Did they give you an indication days before or a week ago or when that they were interested in signing you?
As for, like the contract?
Yeah.
I talked to Nico last night or yesterday before the game. Kind of just had a conversation that, he was trying to figure something out. Obviously, I think they've been trying to figure something out for a while. And then yesterday he was just saying that was something that was probably going to happen because I wouldn't be able to play anymore as far as the 10 days and the hardship. So, but today, this morning was really kind of when it all came to fruition. I had a call with Nico and a call with my agent, and then, it wasn't a really hard decision. I think this is a fit for me and it's where I want to be and I feel wanted. So, I'm blessed to be here as long as possible.
Porzingis mentioned a while ago that you're a player that doesn't mind mixing it up, and he's gotten into it in the past with you, and so we remember you and Luka did too.
Yeah.
What's it like when you come into a team and you've had those little skirmishes? I mean, do you kind of...
No, we laughed about it. All of us have. I think it's something I swept under the rug. It was never any bad blood or, anything that you hold a grudge about. It's just we're competing and, you know, talking our trash, and people are gonna get into it. You know, we're grown men at the end of the day, and you know, you just learn to move on and drop things. It's not something that, you know, you hold on to and let hinder what the bigger purpose. You know, I think, and we all have a common goal, which is to win games. So it wasn't something that I was like, okay, we have problems. You know, we laughed about it. Me and KP talked about it, and me and Luka talked about it. It's funny.
Yeah. Good.
We've got two on Zoom really quickly. Valencia, go ahead.
Valencia King with Real Talk Sports. Thank you for your time. You mentioned that everything happens on God's timing. How has your faith kept you focused and encouraged throughout your basketball career thus far?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said that it was always easy. You know, it's been a lot of hard times, especially with my injuries and, you know, things in my personal life that I had to fight through. But, you know, I think just understanding that everything happens for a reason. And I know God didn't bring me this far just to leave me here. So, you know, I think just staying focused is the biggest thing, and you know, giving him the glory when I am in positions of success. And, you know, really, like you said, just staying focused and understanding that there's going to be an opportunity, and, you know, when it comes, just to be ready and make the most out of it.
Then we've got another one, Dorothy.
Marquise, hi, this is Dorothy Gentry with iMessenger Media. Along those same lines, what advice would you give to other athletes in the same position? And personally, what were some things that you said to yourself? How did you encourage yourself as you waited for the opportunity to play again?
Man, I think the biggest thing is just to keep faith and keep confidence in yourself. You know, understanding that just because the opportunity is not there doesn't mean that it's a rejection, you know. And I think just, like I said, staying ready. Really, I don't know. It was a lot of my family. My family just kept me focused and kept me motivated, and, you know, understanding that an opportunity was going to come. You know, and like I said, I feel like I'm talented enough to be in this league as long as I want to be. And just keeping my focus and doing what I need to do every night is really the biggest thing for me.
And we've got one last one in the room, Dwayne.
Yeah, Monday is MLK Day. You guys will be playing, one of 24 teams playing on that day.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to you to play on that day, and what does Martin Luther King Jr. mean to you?
No, it means a lot. You know, I had a chance to go to the museum in Memphis a few years ago, and, you know, I think it's enlightening to learn about your history and things like that, because I feel like the school system doesn't really, you know, give it the credit it deserves. You know, we learn about it for 28 days, and that's kind of the recognition that they give to our Black history. So I think the NBA doing that is amazing. You know, and then obviously everything he means to our culture and to the United States as a whole is amazing.
Were you surprised? You haven't played with Porzingis in over 2 weeks. Were you surprised that he was showed some little rust?
No, not really. Kind of got him going early. Got his confidence going a little bit. He saw the ball go through the rim. So whenever you see that early, it kind of opens the basket up for you a little bit. No, I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. He puts the work in. Obviously, he had a little bit of a long break, but the repetitions, everything stays the same for him.
What elements of his game did you guys miss the last 2 weeks when he was gone?
Missed his rim protection, his ability to space the floor. He's just another threat for us. Another guy on the scouting report who, you know, you got to play a certain way, and he brings a different dimension to this team. And I mean, we missed him. We were playing well in his absence, but having him back is going to be a plus, and I think that showed tonight.
What's gotten in this team the last 2+ weeks, Terry, the way you guys have been playing?
Just playing together. I think we're clicking. It's been a little bit of a weird year, but we're finally clicking at the right time. We just got to keep it going. We can't be satisfied with what we've been able to do these past couple of weeks. We got to just keep pushing the same way we have been.
Mo said before the game, he's known you for a long, long time, and I'm just wondering first of all, was it good to see him again, and also what role he played in kind of helping you progress in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I miss Mose. I remember when I got drafted, Mose and my dad had a great relationship. I think they coached together at some point. I do not remember. But I just remember my dad saying, "Yo, Coach Jamal Mosley's there, so you're gonna be in good hands. He's gonna help you out. He's gonna look out for you." So, and that's what he did. Just not even speaking on the basketball part. No, he's been a great mentor for me and someone who I really put my trust into him. I'm really happy for him. He's got an opportunity to be a head coach. But yeah, he was the first couple of years here, first 2 years, he's a big help.
And we got one on Zoom. Landon, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen, your motto is take what the defense gives you. You scored 19 points at 72% field goal percentage. Explain what you saw from the Magic and defense tonight.
They kept switching defenses. It was a little bit different every time down the court. I think whenever you're able to play with a little bit of pace, it kind of puts them on their heels, and you're able to be the aggressor, and then you can kind of determine what you're going to do and where things are going to be. So, with that being said, also my teammates have confidence in me to be able to make plays for them and myself, and the ball was able to go through the hoops tonight.
Yeah, I felt good. As Jackie just said, first play, post up, kind of makes me, as he said, comfortable right off the bat. Getting that touch there, and then just finding the opportunities within the offense, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to force anything too much. First game back, lungs are going to feel a little bit. So just kind of playing my game, but I missed some easy ones though, like the mid-range, close mid-range. If I knock those down, then I'll have a pretty good game.
You mind telling us how sick you got and how much you were able to do physically to kind of
Yeah,
stay ready?
I had one bad day. Body was hurting and sweating all the time, fever and stuff. But then the next day after that was pretty much almost back to normal, 80%. And then third, fourth, I was already fine. And then I started working out, and I was able to maintain more or less of decent shape. And then the last 3 or 4 days was getting my conditioning in and really making sure I come back, as close as possible to where I was.
What was that like for you to be at home and watching the team and team be so successful?
Oh, it was great. It was great. It's not a good feeling when things are not going well and you're not able to play either. And when I saw the way guys were playing, it was perfect. We just kept building from that point on, and now I look to add more and keep playing the same way and keep building towards what we're trying to achieve.
What you like what you've seen Marquise since you've been gone?
Yeah, no, he's physical. He's always he's never backs down. He's got into it with me, with Luka, before, and now he's getting into it with other guys. He's a physical type of guy, and doesn't back down and plays hard, and gives us that energy and that spark on defense.
Good to have him on your side and not against him.
Nah, it's okay. I don't care who's you know what I mean. He's just who he is. He's not trying to be anybody. He's just who he is, and that's why he's good. He's aggressive, and as I said, defense, but also offensively, he's very solid.
Cool. We've got a couple on Zoom, so we'll hop there. Pedro, go ahead.
Thank you. Pedro Silva, Univisión Dallas. ¿Qué tal, KP? Muy buenas noches.
Muy buenas, ¿qué tal?
Bien, KP, preguntarte, 19 puntos en 28 minutos de acción, estuviste 2 semanas fuera. ¿Cómo fue tu sensación con el coronavirus y ahora el poder volver y destacarte de esta manera?
Sí, tuve un par de días un poco duros. Lo pasé un poco mal, pero ya a partir de ahí estaba bastante mejor y empecé a entrenar, a hacer pesas, a intentar mantener mi forma física. Y para intentar, cuando ya pueda volver, pues estar lo más cerca posible a como estaba físicamente. Y la verdad que hoy noté un poco que he estado fuera, pero no estaba tampoco muy fuera ni de ritmo ni físicamente. Así que contento por el partido.
Leonardo?
KP, te saluda Leonardo Torres desde Perú. Felicidades por la victoria y por tu buena performance de esta noche.
Gracias.
KP, están con un buen ritmo ofensivo. ¿Qué crees que aún les falta por mejorar?
Yo creo que tenemos momentos que paramos un poco la pelota demasiado. Yo creo que si mejoramos estos momentos y podemos hacer, o sea, la mayor parte del partido moviéndonos bien, sacando la ventaja y jugando a ese tipo de básquet, yo creo que ahí es muy difícil de pararnos. Así que yo creo que en eso estamos bastante mejor y buscamos seguir en la misma línea.
And then we've got one more and it's in English. So Landon, go ahead.
Hey, KP, you hold the Magic to 92 points tonight, and you have a top 5 defense. How has the transition been from being an offensive team to now having a defensive identity and focus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it starts with our coaching staff. You know, they're the ones that are instilling this kind of defense into us, and we have the guys to be able to do that. That's one thing. So our mindset as players, and then also I think when we're offensively moving the ball, everybody's touching it, everybody's feeling good. That's when, you know, it's just human nature. We all have more energy on the defensive end. So if we have that combination, then you know, we're capable of holding teams under 100 points, and that gives us a really good chance of winning.